Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Home movies.
Home movie. The camp episode. Camp Campington Falls.
It's actually Camp Campingston,
I know,
but
I'm sorry.
Flansburgh kept saying it wrong.
It's hard.
throughout
It's hard
the thing.
to say.
Yeah, but I think in the song at the end they do Camp Campingston Falls, and the it was written Camp Campingston Falls.
A really strong episode. This and the Bye Bye Greasy are two of my favorites from this
Oh, really? Yeah.
season. Just something very like
A lot of music going on, and
Yeah.
just kind of not too thought out music, just kind of stuff that happened on this spot, kind of stuff.
yeah. They Might Be Giants.
And yeah, They Might Be Giants. So the story was Flansburgh
John Flansburgh.
contacted Benjamin and then got in touch with, then kind of went to the next step and contacted Soup to Nuts, I believe, and talked to somebody there. And they had been watching there. I guess their engineer was whether or not a fan. I think we've tried to disprove the word fan.
It was someone who watched.
It was someone who watched home movies. And they, again, became the people that watched home movies also, just to avoid the word fan, which I don't believe is a real word anymore.
Yeah.
And so we said, sure, let's try to put them in an episode. I think we should talk about this on a different commentary a little bit, but
Well, we're hopefully going to get a commentary from these guys.
well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
we
see
may as well. Probably shouldn't talk about it. To show that they never did one, or maybe they are. I mean, you'll know at this point.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. But we don't know.
Right. So it's just this
even
is whole
hug
thing.
women.
This is like what is this? This is a weird thing that my dad did one time.
The wilderness men, whatever thing.
Yeah, like men with like grown men,
Yeah.
like drumming in
Drum
circles and
yeah.
like trying to like some kind of a horrible what was it, like this Vision Quest thing they would try to do, like a bunch of grown men, like, you know, with man breasts, like pale dudes go out into like a forest and drum, get in a
Yes.
drum, and it's just like one of those things my dad was telling me about. I'm like, this is possibly the most like upsetting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yes.
Picturing my father doing this
Yes.
stuff. So that was where that came from,
Yes.
the man crying and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So these people, and it is some kind of a weird cult where you're
Yes.
trying to get people to express emotion simply for the idea of expressing emotion,
Yes.
you know, rather than having it directly related to like happiness or
Yes.
sadness, but the idea of isolating these moments and making people experience them, which I'm sure is cathartic and wonderful. I certainly do experience a lot of strange, weird stuff on stage, which is cathartic and nice, as far as like screaming and turning purple and whatnot.
Are you going to camp here?
And there they are, Mike and Miguel, and John and John.
Mm-hmm.
We're geniuses.
We're going to be your music counselors. Awesome.
Another thing about me personally is I do not respond to warm weather at all. I hate it. I was like, honestly, I'm mostly Lithuanian, and I am built for cool, overcast weather.
Yeah.
My skin, my body just can't handle it, so...
And please.
So nothing funnier than miserably oppressive heat
Yeah.
at a day camp.
Yeah, I really
at a sleepaway camp.
I'm just now in my early 30s trying to learn how to deal with like wearing flip-flops and exposing my feet to poor bystanders. So these are all songs that kind of came about the day of.
Yeah. Heavily improvised and also edited after the fact.
Yeah, but this is just completely probably about a good 7 minutes worth of work before putting this on tape, if that, you know.
Yeah.
Don't get mad.
And this is another song. This one was kind of fun. This was the next song. These are like Taste the Fame was an idea that Flansburgh had, and I was playing guitar, and it just started to make sense. Just hitting this kind of like 1 6 2 5 kind of chords, like the old rhythm changes chords. If you're from Berkeley, College of Music.
Taste the action, taste the fame. It's great.
So that going from instead of 4 to 4 minor, going to a minor third up. Yeah, even this was all just kind of. That was fun though. Do you remember that though? I mean, I do.
It's really fun.
that song just was a one take kind of a song.
Well, yeah, it was, but it was a lot longer. I remember Will Shepard did a lot of work.
Give me the credit that we came up with something out of nothing.
I agree.
Be it long or whatnot.
I just want to make sure that I always want to make sure the editors get credit.
Whatever. The editors can't play guitar. Can they?
They
probably can.
They probably can.
Well, they could edit some
everyone
guitar.
Can play guitar.
Yeah,
I've learned.
You know what? It's true. Everyone can play guitar.
Except me.
You can play a little, right?
Just a very little.
If you're open tune-o-matic?
Open tuning.
Why'd you do that?
So funny. There's a lot of funny stuff in this episode.
They had me scheduled to take some.
This is a great idea that Melissa has her little.
She
her
does want to swim. Yeah.
In real life, I don't think she'll mind me saying this. Melissa does have phobias. She's really like a tough girl, and it surprises me. But then you find out she won't walk near pigeons, and has like
people are such weirdos.
Yeah.
But having said that, Melissa is like the one guy, the one dude who can like kind of put Benjamin in his place and all that stuff. But she's a very sane personality too, like a very sobering, kind of who probably experiences horrible night terrors, and
she's had some night terrors, I think.
Right. But this is this whole idea is just putting the world against Jace, Melissa, and Brendon, and having them be completely oppressed throughout the entire episode and giving them some kind of cathartic release at the end, and it's that simple. And that happens a few times on home movies, but it always works, I think.
It's especially satisfying
and
here.
It will always work as long as you have three people that are mildly likable.
There's
the old Revenge of the Nerds.
This episode has some similarities to Shore Leave from season 3.
Absolutely. In fact, we have the same drawn fairy princess leader, but not voiced by Benjamin.
Right.
Why did we do that? I don't remember.
We switched it up at the last second. I can't remember.
I tried to do an impression of him, which doesn't sound nearly as good as what he did.
Right. I think it was based on just who had scenes with who or something like that.
Yeah. I think
There's a bunch of rhetorical things going on. I don't know.
There are no rules.
This is a sort of Robert McKee spoof.
Yeah, it's like a art camp kind of a thing, which is that movie came out. I think that movie called Camp, which was kind of about a camp for performing arts, which is just such a contradiction of like camp and then like artistic and wilderness. What going out to a pond to be reflective and
and sing Broadway songs.
Sing show tunes.
Wow, what did you direct it?
Craft services.
I remember you guys doing a lot of
that was a lot of very much kind of a long run.
Boiled potatoes, no butter, health nut. I was there. Were you there?
These are the kind of runs that Benjamin is like really good at and specific. I think he came up with tons of different actors and spoke about what they ate, and it was all.
Yes, he was like Clementines. James Cameron loves Clementines.
That kind of stuff. Just stuff like that was really.
Well, don't get mad at me, little guy. You haven't really acted.
Yeah, so this is why probably we switched the voices so that you guys could do these scenes opposite each other. Benjamin is not somebody who likes to do both voices in a scene.
Right, he slows it up. In fact, he sometimes doesn't like to do his own voice in a scene. He'll slow it down.
Yeah.
With a big chunk of dialogue.
Yeah.
Ernie, what's going on? Yeah, no barking. Ernie, no barking. Ernie, no barking.
And now we're going to go back to McGurk's plot,
Ernie,
I
no
think,
barking.
at some point, which is also
another theme of our movies is putting them in some geographic similar location. Yes. Ernie, no barking. Ernie. No barking.
One of those things that's artificial and lame, like from a believability point of view. But you know what? It's okay. You totally forgive it.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
whatever.
Yeah,
it
good. I'm glad he went on the wilderness thing
is,
the same week that the kids were in camp.
It's what TV is. You have no choice but to buy it. At some point, if you're making a movie, it's a different story. But
so funny.
They hate it. Yeah.
Here we go. Look at this stuff.
This is great.
This is a Damon Wong scene. If I can just say a word about Damon Wong, the kid is...
That shadow cast is really great on top of him, too. Just that
this whole
other
scene,
layer.
He starts to have a bunch of hallucinations
Right.
is so effective. It's really, really good. He's supposed to have been out in the
really
woods
is
too
great,
long.
yeah.
It's like hasn't eaten. And
No.
look at this stuff. Look at that. That was Lynch. Shining, scary clown.
Oh man.
Totally weird pig thing. Melissa kicking his severed head.
Mama, feed me.
Oh, so great.
So great.
That's home movies are so dialogue driven and everything. It's
Yeah.
so refreshing to see just a really well articulated piece of just a scene that happens that's about what's happening with the animation.
Yep.
Even though, everything is about the animation in this show, but that's about atmosphere, creating just the silliest, most absurd, crazy atmosphere, and that really works nice.
It's the Damon always like a racehorse that was always just he was looking for a place to run, and that he's a guy who just you give him a scene and it was just a tremendous pleasure always to see what he came up with. Always, whether it was a little bit of acting by the character, or whether it was something like we just saw,
or a sequence or whatnot, and like the fairy princess sequences. That's all.
Yeah, huge.
That was like
There's another little thing coming up that's not by Damon, but is a great bit of animation when when Melissa has her own little hallucination here.
Right.
You better be on your way to being in the water, or you're gonna get in trouble. You want to get in trouble?
No, I don't.
You want to get in trouble?
I don't want to.
Two.
No!
Get back here!
It's a great, a real stark contrast between
Nice.
The first season. We would never have seen stuff like that. It was outside the language of the show when we started.
That really was, yeah. It pretty much was something that we probably would have said no to, but
or it wouldn't even have come up. It was just a.
It's true. There's some things that I honestly I think there's probably let's keep it real. Let's make sure that nothing out of the ordinary happens. These are kids. They use cardboard to make movies, and then it started growing, and then their sets became more elaborate.
Yeah.
And now in reality, we're experiencing these kind of fantasy things. But the truth is that
Pretty bad.
I love that drawing of Brendon. It's really funny.
Hey guys.
again Peanuts-esque.
Yeah.
Check it out, guys.
Rabbit troops on.
Right. There are a lot of little tiny things. It's such a nice thing to have a half-hour show. Now I'm realizing.
Yeah.
Because you have those little tiny things that you can implement and pay off. As far as Melissa's swimming thing.
Yeah.
Rabbit Troops suck, just being a runner throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of, paying off or just,
Yeah. It's very satisfying to have an A.
And then two brand new characters that you have enough time to get to know.
Yeah.
And give enough of a shit about to watch,
Yeah.
Hey!
And that was the other thing about They Might Be Giants, talking to them, and this is how I feel in the future. It's anything is that not interested in having real celebrities play themselves on a show. It just takes you out of it for me.
Yeah.
So we said, let's have them be musical guys and everything, but you can't play yourselves.
Yeah. No, it's weird that tradition that The Simpsons started with these guest stars.
From a marketing point of view, sure, people will go and check out.
Why do they have to play themselves?
Yeah.
He looks good with a beard, McGurk.
Why are you yelling at me? I'm helping.
Well, everybody does these days. Am I right? Yeah.
I guess.
Not exactly. They're trying to hug me and to make me cry.
Okay.
Well, that's right, cry walkers.
After me.
Forgot
Okay,
about
so I
that.
need to hide out here.
Okay, calm down. We believe you. Don't worry.
Brendon?
He's out of his head. He's out of his mind.
He's lost.
Kind of weird dip to black there.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, you're forced into situations where you have to show a time passage in some ways.
Yeah.
And sometimes just an exterior shot will do it with, we do that with home movies. You cut to an exterior, and you believe that time has passed, and sometimes a dip to black will do it, and sometimes it won't.
Yeah.
That was kind of a weird one. And a very strange kind of angling of a shot where you know that we're going to push down in a second and pull back to reveal that they're talking about him.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of weird tippings of the hand that go on when unnoticed,
Yeah, right. Sometimes those visual things are as fragile. Like we were talking about fragility of jokes.
Like,
sometimes the visual stuff is the same.
way,
Just an angle will make or break an idea.
And marshmallow bags used as flotation devices was another kind of like, again, like
Food's gone bad. I think we haven't showered or bathed since we got here. Plus,
rabbit troop wood things.
Yeah, I know.
But again, like with the fairy princess kind of a thing, keeping that alive, where she uses the hairspray to explode and all that stuff, and just the fairy towel to escape and all that stuff. And the same with this will all be used later. It ends up, I mean, it's kind of a formula, but it is satisfying in some ways to watch it pay off.
The MacGyver formula.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's mildly creative. I mean, not. I think when I say creative, that doesn't mean it's good. It just means that it was created.
Anytime you see a scene like this, it's always so satisfying to see shadows. It's something we couldn't afford to do, but that when we do, when we get to see it, it's always so great to see the characters with that kind of richness. I wish the show always looked like that in some ways.
And the best part about it is probably it works because it doesn't always look that way.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right.
You know what I mean?
They really went all out in this episode. There's a lot of lighting effects and flashlight things,
extra layers and gradients and whatnot.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so funny. They are not happy. Look at Melissa.
Rabbit troop.
You know what? I'm going to volunteer not to be bathed.
But Melissa, we have to, or we're going to get in trouble.
Well, I'd rather not be around the,
Honestly, you're not afraid of the hose one.
You know what, Mrs.
And
that's the end of it.
Get ugly about it.
Yeah, hey, that's also one instructor's opinion.
Right.
The movie didn't go over too well, did it?
With your acting in it.
No, well, there's not much an actor can do when he has no
And
material.
whose wing have we been taking under, Brendon? Where was that great idea you had?
Yeah.
They were all going to
I think they're going to have to come together.
Right.
I think, guys.
Listen, we have to be friends. We have to get through this somehow. We're all we've got.
It's true. It's us against them.
Exactly.
Rabbit Troop forever.
Rabbit ears up. Rabbit paws in.
Oh.
Campington Falls.
We keep saying in Campington Falls. I mean, I guess it's Campington Falls. I mean, whatever.
Both are okay.
I'll get over it.
So both.
They're both stupid. But I think Campingston Falls is the real way to say it.
Fun, though. It's fun at camp.
That's funny. McGurk's enjoying himself.
He's being tracked down by people who want him to cry.
By the cry walkers.
There's a point where he can scrutinize the reality of things. There's a point where you just kind of go with it. Like, that's a premise that
Hey, guys, don't forget we have to feed McGurk.
that makes sense, but it's totally unrealistic that they would want him back in their thing.
This is small.
So good to see you.
Hug.
It's funny also that Melissa, when you change a character like that, change your hair and change your outfit, and you leave, it's in a couple scenes. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to change all.
Oh yeah, I know they hated that. I mean, in the fat episode where they all had to put on weight, that was like that's a nightmare. But I mean, it's a very satisfying nightmare to go.
It's worth it. And Melissa has a big moment coming up, so it's good that she's got her the focus is on her with her hair.
Right. This was a lot of fun for me because I got to make some metal song. It wasn't that metal, but it's kind of a little harder rock stuff for Welcome to Hell.
Yeah, it's great.
And the really cool part was I just emailed it to John Linnell and I said, hey, can you do backup vocals for this? And I had some like temp stuff and then I could hardly sing. And he sent it back like probably like an hour later, having like layered like 3 tracks.
Great, yeah.
And it sounds really cool because of his singing on it, not because of what I did.
Sounds good to me, but first, let me call on our good friend Satan. Oh, Satan!
Hello, my favorite demon followers.
What do you say, Satan? Can you crank up the heat a little in this disgusting crap hole while we drain the life out of these pathetic, run-of-the-mill, talentless children?
Sounds good to me. Let there be devil music!
Welcome to hell.
It's great.
There's a whole extended track on the CD once again.
Yeah. Oh, I remember this shot coming up. This is another going all out animators just like taking it sort of referencing other shows in a very funny way.
I did go to a camp. Did you ever go to camp?
Yeah, once.
I went to a camp in like Auburn, California when I was, I think, 8 or 9 years old.
Look at that.
That's great. Just all those layers. That's the multi-planing, the old Disneyland multi-planing techniques. But that is great. The thing about home movies is it just innately does not lend itself to being flashy, you know?
Yeah.
But when something dark and evil is happening, it works.
Coach?
Melissa!
Coach!
Help me!
What's going on?
So finally.
Yeah. And another... I love when you can have two people yelling to each other. Always funny.
Yeah.
To me, anyway.
Float on the bag of marshmallows.
Save my life!
Save my life.
Save my life!
So stupid.
It's awesome.
You are finished!
Get off the stage, you talentless freaks. Hey, Jason, what happened to Melissa?
Look over there.
For all this recording stuff, I used a lot of Line 6 stuff, the Pod XT, which was really cool, and I now have an artist deal with them, so I can say that.
I was going to say, sound like you're sponsored.
Yeah, by Gibson Guitars, Crank Amps, which are awesome high-gain tube amps. And
this show isn't sponsored.
This show isn't sponsored, but I'm going to say it anyway.
I guess
But I'm a proud player of Gibson USA, and that is the coolest thing I could say, but that's all I will say.
I want to get sponsored, but like I want to get sponsored by like
Cool
Q-tips.
Whip. Yeah. Q-tips and Cool
like
Whip.
Johnson & Johnson Q-tips. I use them, and I'm proud.
Yeah.
I think it's a great product.
Will you use them to make a show, though?
No. I use them to clean out my ears.
Yeah, right. So you can make a show.
Yeah. I mean, I use my ears.
Yeah, you do your ears.
That's a good ear.
Yeah.
That'll be my little, like that's going to be the ad campaign.
That's good. And he finally cries, of course, because he's alive.
Yes.
Right.
Such a very, very good episode.
It's it kind of came together, and I felt a lot of pressure on this one trying to put it together. I remember just because it's again like two guys that we wanted to write an episode for and make it work.
Yeah, and there's a lot of music and
there's a lot of music and a lot of fun and again it's just Paula shows up at the end and McGurk, and it's just always about trying to get them all together.
Yeah, that is funny.
And this is Flansburgh, who put this together, and I believe Linnell too.
Yep, the reprise.
Yeah. So he did more of a Bowie kind of a vibe with it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I remember he sent it to me. It was pretty cool.
That's great.
His Campingston and Campingtons, I think both of them in this. Mark Chusen.
Mark Chusen.
Taste of Fame.
Good one.
A good one, yeah. A lot of fun. It's a shame it's canceled.
Yeah.